He should end up with the Lakers, he should end up with the Miami Heat, or he should retire.
You have a Hall of Fame career. Just go ahead and let it go.
I agree with you 100%.
I was ready to walk away. Yeah.
People's Kid, how we doing? It's your boy Kobe back at it again with another video, and as always, hope y'all are having a blessed day. First things first, shout out to all the Americans. Hope you guys had some delicious Thanksgiving food this past week and was able to spend the holiday with friends and family. Although the NBA didn't have any games last Thursday, I know the players have a lot to be thankful for with respect to their million-dollar lifestyles, an amazing opportunity to play the sport they love. And with respect to one guy, I'm not even sure his Thanksgiving dinner ended because he has been eating ever since he returned to the league. Carmelo Anthony, the man named Melo himself, has re-emerged in the NBA not only as a veteran off the bench, but as a player I think many did not suspect him to be. Yep, gonna go through exactly why he's finding success in Portland and how it differs from his last two teams, so you definitely don't want to miss it. Real quick, per usual, if you guys enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe, and with that said, let's hop right into it. Carmelo Anthony. Where the hell do I begin with this guy? Like him, love him, or hate him, I know almost every NBA fan out there has felt strongly about Carmelo at some point in their lives. While some consider him to be one of the greatest scorers the league has ever seen and a clear top 50 player of all time as a result of his on-court accomplishments, there are others out there that will go as far as calling him the most overrated player in NBA history. Yet despite the ridiculously polarizing opinions on Carmelo, I think what most people can agree on is at the height of his career, this guy's ego was almost as large as a certain someone we all know a bit too well.
I'm like a smart person.
But after being traded to the Thunder in September 2017 after a 7-year stint with the New York Knicks without any playoff appearances in his final 4 seasons, Melo found himself to be in a position he had never been before in his entire life, a player who was not the face of the franchise. Instead, Carmelo was asked to be a cog in the Thunder system alongside Paul George and Russell Westbrook in a quest to deliver a title following the departure of Kevin Durant in 2016. But although the expectations of him being just a piece were clear from the jump, it didn't take long to see his ego remain sky high.
Or even coming off the bench. And the second question is...
Who, me?
Oh. I guess that answers that part.
I mean, I don't know where that started, where that came from. Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
Unwilling to concede that he was a player past his prime, Melo remained steadfast in his ability to produce at a high level and essentially demanded a starting spot at the beginning of the season. What he didn't know at the time, however, was that he was about to get smacked in the face with a slice of humble pie every day for the next 2 years of his life. Because while he started every game he played for the Thunder in the 2017-2018 season, it was not uncommon to see head coach Billy Donovan opt for more defensive-friendly lineups at the end of the games that did not include Carmelo. By the end of the year, after failing to get out of the first round of the playoffs, the Thunder realized Anthony provided little value to their roster and cut ties with him despite owing him nearly $30 million for 1 more year on his contract, essentially saying, hey, this guy is crap and we'll pay him to stay away from the team. As an organizational move like this speaks volumes and would lower anyone's ego, Carmelo did become more in tune with how NBA front offices viewed his game and became a bit more receptive to having a reduced role. Sadly for him, rock bottom came shortly after as the Rockets signed him and released him within 10 games of him playing for the team last season. As Anthony describes it, he pretty much had a meltdown and realized how far his standing in the NBA had really fallen.
Pardon my language, I feel like I'm not even gonna lie. To sit there across from the GM president or the GM of the team and him tell you, listen, your services are no longer needed. That was an ego hit. That was a pride hit. Like, I felt like I started questioning myself after that. Like, damn, can I still do this? What did I do?
Following his embarrassing stint with Houston, a full year went by without a single NBA team willing to sign him despite his intentions on playing. Simply put, his reputation was completely in the gutter, and it got so bad that some fans and analysts alike called upon Melo to hang up the shoes and call it a career. And as this past season began without Melo joining a squad, The question on whether he would play again in the league became a legitimate one, yet after a few injuries and a slow start to the regular season, one NBA team finally decided to make the call. Yes, the Portland Trailblazers front office agreed to bring in Anthony on a non-guaranteed contract less than 2 weeks ago. In my honest opinion, while I thought this might perhaps be a bit of a PR front, I expect him to play around 15 minutes a game and maybe get a few shots up throughout the course of his time on the floor. On the contrary though, he has proven just about everyone wrong, and I have to say I'm a bit shocked and chagrined on how much he is playing and how well he is playing. So with the context out of the way on how we've reached this point today, without further ado, here are the 3 biggest reasons why Carmelo Anthony is playing better in the NBA. Number 3, Portland is letting Carmelo Anthony be Melo on the court. Over the course of the majority of his 17-year NBA career, Carmelo has had the luxury of playing in an offense that caters to his strengths and allows him to get to his favorite spots on the court. Historically, at the prime of his career, these two areas would be the long mid-range area between 16 feet and the three-point line and shots at the rim. Yet, considering advanced metrics in the league have really put a dark mark over the inefficiency of shooting long mid-range twos, and we've seen the birth of NBA all-time scorers who have successfully deleted this shot from their game, James Harden, Carmelo couldn't afford to take these same type of shots at the same rate in his previous 2 roles. Instead, with both the Rockets and Oklahoma City Thunder, Melo was essentially relegated to being a spot-up three-point shooter with nearly half of his total shots coming from behind the three-point line, far below his career average of 19.3% of his total shots being three-pointers. Now, this would be great if Carmelo happened to be a knockdown three-point shooter, but that just isn't and never was the case. For all this talk about Olympic Melo and his spot-up shooting ability, real and knowledgeable NBA fans always understood Carmelo is not a pure shooter that can score, but a pure scorer that can shoot. There's a difference, and you guys got to understand that. And in 6 games with the Blazers so far, Anthony has been given the green light to play the way he wants, shooting far less three-pointers and getting to the rim at a clip double the percentage he was in his previous 2 years. In the paint, Anthony is even showing glimpses of young Melo both via the eye test and on the stat sheet, shooting 64% currently on field goal attempts at the rim. But it's not only the type of shots that are making us remember what Carmelo can do, it's the amount of offensive activity the Blazers are allowing him to bring to the team. Despite CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard's command of the offense, Melo's usage rate at 25.9% across 6 games puts him in line with guys like Malcolm Brogdon, DeMar DeRozan, and ironically his teammate McCollum. Granted, it is unclear if this is something that will stay constant throughout the rest of the season, but if he does continue to be featured when he's on the court in the way that suits his game, I just don't see why his offensive game won't continue to flourish. Number 2, his locker room presence and offensive contributions are outweighing his defense so far. If we're being 100% honest about the Melo situation and the question about why no team was willing to pick him up, despite his clear ability to still put the ball in the hoop, you have to understand there wasn't any blackballing or collected effort by the league to keep Carmelo from playing, as some conspiracy theorists suggest. Nope, the bottom line is that Anthony's defense had gotten so bad and so invasive to the team's overall chemistry that it no longer seemed its individual offensive heroics were worth the headache. It's not even the effort, guys. Melo is just too slow laterally at this point, and most matchups are unfavorable to him. And while Carmelo could argue all he wants that he's better than a lot of guys in the league right now, as an NBA GM, would you really want him over glue guys like say a Danny Green or Andre Iguodala? In most cases, the answer is not a chance because of what those guys bring to the table holistically. Yet so far in his time with Portland, while the advanced metrics still show Melo as a net negative on defense, his averages of 17.7 points per game, 6.0 rebounds per game, and 2.2 assists per game on 46% from the field is currently suppressing what he cannot do on the other side of the court. From a pure on versus off the court comparison, the Blazers are currently outscoring opponents 10 points more per 100 possessions with Melo on the court, as opposed to being outscored by 3 points per 100 possessions while he's off the court. I mean, sure, there's probably some noise in these numbers given the small sample size, and it'll be important to see if this trend continues, but as long as Carmelo continues to show that he's putting effort behind his defense and the Blazers continue to win, he'll remain a net positive for Portland and their locker room. Number 1, he's retained the motivation and preparation of an NBA legend. It is fitting we end with this point because without this one, the other two would be impossible to even discuss. Although Carmelo is an accomplished NBA star with millions of dollars in his bank account, over the last 2 years, he's figuratively turned into the ordinary guy just looking to make the high school team. Given the success and deference shown to him over his decade-plus career, you can bet a lot of people in his shoes would have walked away and never looked back after being humbled like this. While I've never been the biggest Carmelo fan, I must admit I gained a lot of respect for him shutting up and putting in work in the offseason to be prepared for when an opportunity came calling. Because he had a will not failure attitude and a burning desire to prove to naysayers that he could still play in the league, he's now killing it in his current role with Portland. But make no mistake, he isn't doing this for the money, he isn't doing this for the clout, hell, he may not even be doing this for the haters. No, rather, he is accepting the challenge of proving to himself above all that his time is not yet done. And honestly, I think you can see on the court just how much this latest chapter means to him, and he's playing with the urgency that he is on borrowed time. For anyone watching this that is battling their own personal challenge, no matter what it is, you can take incredible lessons from what Carmelo is doing right now, and for that, I give him his props. Who knows how long this blast from the past will last, and even if he will finish the year with the Blazers, but for now I'm with it, and I think anyone that likes to see a great redemption story should be with it too. So in honor of Mr. Anthony, let's all keep grinding and stay mellow. Anyways guys, that's the video, hope you enjoyed. Sorry about the corny ending line, but it feels great to be pushing out positive Carmelo content, as the last 2 years have been a nightmare. What do you guys think about Carmelo's resurgence in Portland? Do you think it's temporary or will it last long term? Comment your thoughts below. With that said, hope you guys have a great rest of the day, or night, or whatever time it is. I'll be back at it soon. Peace out.